Party made history as the first coalition party to field a presidential candidate in a general election in Kenyan politics. Now, the coalition party, which consists of about 26 political parties that have signed a coalition agreement to work together pre and post the August 9th general election, which is 2 days away, will also go down in history as the first coalition to be headed by a retired president. Our senior political affairs reporter, Chris Airu, who is in Kasarani, looks back at the making of the first coalition party in the country and what it entails for the constituent parties in the coalition to stick together even after the August 9th polls.
In what started as a noble idea whose time had come in the country's political arena, 10 months to the August general polls, think tanks in both the ruling Jubilee Party, led by President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the Orange Democratic Party, ODM, led by Raila Odinga, will finally agree to settle on one coalition party that will bring on board other like-minded political parties to field one presidential candidate. These would see night meetings at State House Nairobi and Mombasa, chaired by President Uhuru Kenyatta, and that brought on board principals in One Kenya Alliance, ANC's Musalia Mudavadi, Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula, KANU's Gideon Moi, UDP's Silas Jirongo, with an intention of fielding one presidential candidate. But when it became apparent that President Uhuru's choice of his successor was Raila Odinga, the One Kenya principals bolted out of the talks.
If Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka decide to join his colleagues at Kenya Kwanza, you can be assured Kenya Kwanza will form the next government. If Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka decide to join Azimio, Azimio will form the next government. If Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka stays put, take it to the bank, none of the Azimio, none of the Kenya Kwanza will get 50+1%. We have the card.
President Uhuru Kenyatta and KANU chairman Gideon Moi then took it upon themselves to personally engage other like-minded parties to join the coalition. And in April, they were ready to launch the coalition at KICC.
Mimi sina shaka ya kwamba ana uwezo, ako na nia, na Mwenyezi Mungu atamjalia aweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba taifa letu la Kenya litasonga mbele na maendeleo. Taifa letu la Kenya litasonga mbele na umoja.
A move that made history in the country's political arena as the country's first political coalition party and the first to field a presidential candidate. The coalition, crafted around ethnic kingpins, mimics the National Rainbow Coalition that swept KANU party out of power. The difference is that the 2002 NAC coalition did not transform into a political party.
Lazima tuchukue fursa hii kuwashukuru viongozi wa vyama mbalimbali ambao wameweka tamaa yao kando, ndio tuwe na Kenya moja, tuwe na nchi moja. Wakenya wameungana na sisi zote tumesema team captain wetu awe ni Raila Amolo Odinga.
Ndugu Raila Odinga, tumetoka mbali.
In fact, Kenyans had assumed at Jacaranda, when I said Raila tosha mara ya tatu, I remember Brother Gideon, we meeting at the gents, he said, for me, therefore, this is an automatic thing. have suffered the consequences of bad faith for far too long. I mean, for how long do people expect one Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to be the one always to sacrifice? Always to sacrifice.
However, the last two principals to join the coalition were Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who has already been promised to be appointed as a chief minister in Azimio government, a deal that was brokered by President Uhuru Kenyatta, and KANU chairman Gideon Moi.
Mimi nimerudi kucheza position 11. Mimi ndio Messi. Kipindi ni kipindi cha lala salama. Si namna hiyo. Nilikuwa tu napumzika. Baba alikuwa ameniweka spare. Sasa kipindi cha lala salama nitampigia ndugu Raila position number 9. Yeye atascore immediately na Kenya hii itakuwa sawa sawa.
Leo tumeona mwanaume ambaye amepunguza matarajio zake kwa sababu ya wananchi wa Kenya. Na hiyo mwanaume ni Kalonzo Musyoka.
That I have picked as my running mate and Cabinet Secretary for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Martha Wangari Karua.
And there's the mere running mate Martha Karua, who joined after a promise of being Raila Odinga's running mate as well as a minister for justice. Both Mudavadi and Wetangula headed to Kenya Kwanza to support Deputy President William Ruto in protests.
We agree with you that only Azimio, under the leadership of His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, can take Kenyans to a better place, to a prosperous Kenya. We urge you to please come and walk with us.
Maendeleo Chap party leader and outgoing Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua and outgoing Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi would later ditch the coalition on grounds that the coalition leaders kept the agreement as a secret and later joined Kenya Kwanza, led by Deputy President William Ruto.
Wameform caucus ile ya pale juu inasema the people in charge of the coalition will be from Jubilee, ODM na Wiper. Hata si Oka, Wiper. Hiyo ni urafiki kweli? Sindio?
Uhuru Kenyatta is viewed as the most powerful and influential person in the coalition. He is the council chair with 4 deputies, a clear indication that he will still be very powerful even when he retires and in case the Azimio coalition takes over power. According to the agreement, transitional provisions vest the decision-making powers to President Uhuru of Jubilee Party and Raila Odinga's ODM. However, both must come to an agreement.
There is no way you can dismiss people from central Kenya or from Mount Kenya from being inside the government. Na nikaambia watu, even 2022, they will be there. Where is Uhuru going to go and is young? Atasumbua watu wengine. We must amend the constitution to accommodate him somewhere.
The agreement, however, does not expressly explain how exactly affiliate parties will share positions such as cabinet posts, principal secretaries, and ambassadorial jobs. It also does not detail whether Azimio will retain the Chief Administrative Secretaries, CAS, post created by President Kenyatta in 2017.
Because I should be able to tell you in this coalition agreement, tumesema ya kwamba maendeleo chap by that kama viti amtapata viti hivi wala watakosa, we'll be able to nominate a few of you into this office. Tutawafutia kazi kwa serikali, tukiform serikali, nyinyi mtaingia kwa commission, tutapeana majina, mkuwe madirector, mshikilie mali. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Itakuwa ni ile sector unapiga simu inakatwa. Unapiga simu unafanya nini? Inakatwa. Inawezekana. Leo ni leo.
already 5 cabinet slots have been set aside for the top principals in the coalition, while Martha Karua will get extra duties by being the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Outgoing Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho has been promised the lands docket. His Kakamega counterpart Wycliffe Oparanya will be the Treasury CS. The current Agriculture CS, Peter Munya, has been promised the same docket and retain the same position. While Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has been promised a chief minister will also be in charge of one ministerial docket. The Azimio agreement has already been deposited with the Register of Political Parties, which makes it legally binding. Chris Dairo, KTN News, Nairobi.
Well, that's history in the making. Raila Odinga going into the annals of history as the first to